And we're live.
Nellie's like,
And we're live. Oh man, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to be in this space right now because we were talking earlier, like, we need to talk about this.
we need to talk about this. Like well, before we get into it, I'm Laverne Badger,
And I'm Natalie Hayden.
and we are
Expose
Exposed, the
the
podcast.
darkness.
And so you see these cheery voices and cheery faces,
I might go in and out.
but it ain't always cheerful. It's not always good. It's not always happy.
No.
So yeah, so have we recorded since Florida?
I feel like, you know what? I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't think we did. I
Yes,
don't
we
think
did. Yeah, we
we
did.
did.
We did. Yep, because we talked about it. We talked about Florida.
So the that just means I'm really fixated on Florida. Like this has been one of those weeks, and we're only in the beginning of the week where I'm trying to mentally get back to Florida. And but it's been a week, but it's been a one worth talking about.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
okay.
our title, the topic of this week's title is being okay with not being okay.
Because I'm
And
not
so
okay.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay all the time. And it's okay not to be okay. But we really was having a conversation on trying to force ourselves to be okay and not necessarily, oh, we got a day. By tomorrow, I need to be good.
Right.
I'm gonna get up out this funk. I need to get
Mhm.
out this funk because I got shit to do. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Why I feel like I know why we do that. One is that I think for me, I just don't like being in that headspace of not being okay. So you try to rush it and try to force yourself to get out of how you're feeling, how we're feeling. But then also, as Black women, not given permission not to be okay. Because there's
Mhm.
just so much stuff that has to continue to be done, right?
There's so many things that, so many hats that we're wearing, and it's not just us. Like, you are in your head, not just me in my head, but there's other people that really rely on you, especially if you are one that is a giver of a certain energy. They're really, I feel like people are, they need that from you. And today was one of those days where I really just had to step back and also just advocate and honor myself and say, I'm not there. I'm not going to be able to provide you the smile that you need. I can't be your sunshine today because I got to be my own damn sunshine. And the sun ain't out today for me. Okay.
God damn it. Right
God
today.
damn it, the sun ain't out, it's raining. But
Right.
and once I was able to just recognize that and honor that, I felt so relieved, and I really did end up having a good day today.
Right.
I
And if
really did.
you had gone a day, 2, 3 days with not being okay,
I would have
that's
been okay with
okay.
that. Yeah.
You know, it's when you know, you're you're not feeling yourself for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then you start to get a little concerning as a friend, to say, hey, sis, what can I do to help? Or if I'm going through that and it's lingering longer than I'm comfortable with, to say, oh my God, I need some help. I
Right.
don't know what's
Right.
going on with me, but I'm not feeling myself. Everything is irritating my soul,
Mm.
right now, and I'm not sure why. And it's not always work related. Sometimes it's work related. It can be a combination of kids. It can be a combination of work, combination of husbands. It can just be a combination of the COVID. You know what I mean? Like COVID, we've had some conversations about COVID in the past and what quarantine life has done, and but I really think as we have reach the are reaching the 1 year mark of COVID, I think people are really starting to feel the effects of, I just need to get up out of here and take my chances, because I'm going to go
Absolutely.
crazy in here in the house and limiting myself. The weather sucks, so I can't really be out, even be outside, you know, to get some fresh air. And
Today's fresh air was really good though. It was like a heat wave. It was
I
40
know,
something
girl,
today. It
Richard
was
was
nice.
like, so that was a good part of my day too, is Richard was like, he came in the office and he said, when's your lunch break? We need to go take a walk.
Oh, that's
And I
so
was
sweet.
like, everything in me, my knee jerk reaction was like, no, I don't want to go out there. But then I was like, yes, Vern, get on up, get outside. And I definitely was glad that he did. But I had bundled up like, girl, I don't, and I was like,
It was
Jesus,
hot.
I'm hot. I got in the
Yes.
house, I had to turn the heat down because the heat was representing, you know, it was up because of the -5 degrees. Um, but it was a beautiful day walking around just the neighborhood for that half hour that we were out there. And so yeah, so weather helps, you know, having good sunny warm days. I mean, we just seem like we've been buried in snow the last couple weeks. And
Mhm.
I don't know, I just think that we can't be the only ones feeling having moments like this. And that's
No,
why
we're
we thought
not.
it was important to have this conversation, to let people know that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah. And it seems like this mountain is coming around more often, especially for me, um, because I really do feel like, we are in such a society that has conditioned us to just table it.
Mm-hmm.
um it's okay to move on. You got stuff to do, you don't have time to deal with that. You got things that are waiting for your attention, you got people that need you. And you got to realize too that if you're not a good you and you're not dealing with what it is that you're dealing with on the inside, you're going to be of no good service to anyone else. And
Yeah.
so I really had to just deal with that, and I had to let people around me know that. And that's really challenging for me because, I know my role and I know my position. I know what I bring to the table. I know what people, I don't want to say need me for, but I know how I show up in others' lives. And that is how my cup is filled up, but my cup was not full. And I just did not have anything to give. And I'm not sure how long I'll be here, but I've even given disclaimers. I've called people that I'm close to, like, look, I'm not okay.
Right.
And it's okay. Like,
It's
just
okay.
the best thing you can do for me is pray for me.
Yeah.
Like,
What can I do to help you? Is it just, sometimes it's just step away
yeah, yeah.
and leave you alone, and then we're gonna pray for you. But I'm only gonna give you a couple days of that, and then I'm gonna be
Yeah,
all up in your
she
business.
gonna
You know, then you want to be all up in your friend's business to say, okay, just checking in, you know,
yeah.
but it's okay to have moments to yourself. It's okay not to be out of character sometimes, and
And
know
that out of
yourself.
character, that scares me a little bit because it's so not like myself. Like I had some introverted moments over these past couple days where I just really wanted to just really be to myself and not really deal with anyone. I didn't want to communicate much. And it wasn't, it had nothing to do with anyone else. It had everything to do with me. And
Right.
I'm gonna say it again that it's, being okay with not being okay. But when it's lingering past days, then maybe it's something more that we really need to consider and deal
Figure out
with.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
because
absolutely.
depression and anxiety and all those things are real. But I
It
think
is.
just being able to have some moments where you're just not good is normal. You
Right.
know, like one of my cousin of mine, she was planning her depression. So
Oh
when
wow, because we
I just
can't do that as
I
human beings. We
so
so
here's what she said. I'm not okay. I don't know what's wrong with me. Something is wrong. I'm not okay. I really was just gonna get off Facebook. Wasn't gonna do Facebook for a week. I wasn't gonna answer my phone for a week. I was just gonna lay in and you know who I'm talking about, but lay in the
She's
bed
gonna
for a
know who
week.
you're talking about too.
And right. And if and I said, so you planning your depression? I said, so to be depressed. And so I remember seeing, I told her, I said, I remember reading or listening to somebody say that that's the worst thing you can do because that feeds depression and anxiety. You're
It
supposed to
does.
do the opposite of what you feel like doing. If you have this overwhelming feeling to lay in the bed and stay in the bed day after day, you have to fight that feeling and get your butt up
Yeah.
and not get sunken into that because that's how it sinks you in.
It's a rabbit hole.
Right. And so the next day, which actually was today, 8 o'clock, I get a call in the morning, FaceTime, fully dressed, hair done, lip on, clothes on. You know, we teleworkers, so we hoodie and, you know, in the morning hoodies and jogging pants and stuff. But today, baby, she
That's all
said, not
right.
today. She was
Not
like, not
today.
today. I done worked out. I done prayed. I
Yeah.
read my devotional and
Mhm.
all of that. Took a shower, got dressed, all of that before starting work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I
Oh, we
was
was on the
like,
same schedule today, it looked like.
yes, that is,
Mhm.
yes, that is absolutely amazing. So I think she heard what I was saying and saying that you got to fight through that, and she's making a conscious effort not to get sunk into places that we all are vulnerable to if we let life take a hold of us,
I
you know.
think it's also fair to say, and you know, the company that we keep really does determine the type of person that we are. If you look at the five people, the top five people that you spend the most time with, that's pretty much like a general consensus of, you know, who you are in sort of, and so it's always nice to have to look at the you know, the people that's sort of evolving around you. And it's always nice to have people that are a little bit ahead of where you're, you know, where you're, what you're trying to attain,
Yeah.
and those that are at your level, and some that you're reaching back to mentor and support and stuff like that. So it's just good to have that nice balance. And what I'm realizing is that I have a lot of people around me of where I want to be, and so there can be a lot of pressure, you know.
Yeah, it's a
We
lot of
talk
pressure. I
about
think
that.
life is pressure. I just feel like
It
life is pressure
is.
in general. Like I think if we're not challenging ourselves or pushing ourselves forward, then we're not growing. So there's pressure that is waiting for us at the next levels. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but we just have to be able to kind of control what those pressures and triggers and spaces that we move forward into, that it doesn't take over us.
Mhm.
Because and we are definitely not counselors.
No.
This is just, I'm not a counselor. This is
These
just
are just
my
our
experience.
experiences.
Right.
That's
This
it.
is my little old experience and my almost 50
50 observation of wisdom.
observations of um but I think talking to friends and people who have the same experiences, I think we might be on to something. So and this is the kind of thing that when we do our conference this year, the No More
Hashtag
Mean
no
Girls,
more mean girls.
No More Mean Girls, when we get that campaign going, check, keep a watch out for that. That's coming soon in March. Um, that we want this is the kind of thing we want to be helping each other with, you know,
That
supporting,
accountability piece. Yeah.
yes, supporting one another when we're not in a good space. And then that mentorship of being able to tell somebody it's okay or it's not okay.
And
Okay,
then
you've
this
been
is
in
how
this
we
funk
can
way too
support you.
long. Let me
Right.
help you come up out of this. Let's
Right.
figure out what's going on with you. And having just having that type of sisterhood and like you said, accountability to one another. You know, I don't necessarily have to know you personally to care that you're okay, you know. I
Hmm.
just don't. And so, yeah, I'm excited for this conference that's coming because I think it's going to touch bases on definitely some of those things that as little black girls that grow up into grown black women that we
Hello,
carry with
somebody.
us,
Yeah.
that we carry with us. Why do we always have to be strong?
Yeah, those are serious burdens, and it can be a blessing and a curse to be a black woman these
Mm-hmm.
days. But many of those expectations are now being dismantled, and thankfully, one conversation at a time, one tough conversation at a time. Sometimes our elders and the wise ones can be like, oh, we used to do this, that, and the third, and still have breakfast and dinner and lunch on the table. And we sitting up here and we just saying, well, we're not doing that.
But why, ma'am?
Why?
Why? Why? I just want to say thank you for paving the
Thank you.
way
Yes.
for us to have the option.
But there's a new way,
There's a, not to say that there's not, that way is old and dead. There are some women, some housewives, and who really have that role, and they're okay with that type of role in
Mhm.
their relationship. But I think I am grateful that times have changed for me to have a choice.
Thank God for evolution.
Yes. Yes, for
The
having
evolved
being able to
woman.
have a choice. And
Yeah.
so I think that's what our ancestors would have wanted, is for us to have a choice. And now I think they would be happy to see that we are taking our mental health as important and not necessarily pushing it to the back burner or putting ourselves last. You know,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think women in general tend
Mhm.
to put themselves last when it comes to family and husbands um and I'm trying not to generalize, but I'm speaking on women specifically for
Mhm.
this, is that I think we tend to be the one to say that we're last on the list of who we take care of. And we just need to change that. And I think
You're
it
taking
has
a
been
pledge
to
to change that,
to
to move
change that.
ourselves up to the front of the line.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And what did Ayana say? And I think you do this all the time too. You say this all the time, where your cup, you get what my cup runneth over.
That's right.
But if my cup is not full,
I
you
can't help
can't
it.
get what's in the glass. Because
Yeah.
I need to make sure I'm always good before I can be beneficial. And that's not how we all grew up, you know.
Yeah.
It was almost a sense of pride that you put your kids first, or you put your husband first. You know, it was like a sense of
Mhm.
honor to say that that's what you were doing. And if there was a woman, some old huzzy ass woman that's out there living her best life, and I cook him dinner when I get there, or he can watch the kids while I'm out doing whatever, she was looked at like something was wrong with her, you know.
But you know what? I mean, I think everything has order and divine order, if I can get deep on you for a moment, because in the word, there's an order to how we are to serve. And of course, we have to keep whichever God whatever God of the universe you serve, that person, that source is first. And to me, that is where your cup is replenished. So you don't have to really say, oh, do I want to put God or my children? God is first. Then you can funnel that and filter that down to your husband, your children. Make sure you got, because when you take care of yourself, you and God is straight, you have nothing to worry about.
Right. Right.
So sometimes, when that cup is depleted, we just got to make sure that we're tapping into whatever source it is that you're tapping into. And that is where the cup is replenished. And then we can give from that overflow. I'm not giving from my cup, I'm giving from the overflow. And right now,
Yep.
I don't have an overflow. So I got to make sure my cup is good and I'm good.
Yes. And I got you, girl. And you got me too, because we
Absolutely.
seem like we be off around the
At the
same
same
times.
time.
Yeah, like
I'd be like,
some
nigga, is you off? Because I'm
right to
off.
right. Totally different issues, just like
But it's
yeah,
off. Yes.
but we're off, and it's just okay. It
Yeah.
is definitely okay, and we're gonna have to continue to remind ourselves of that. It's
Yeah.
baby steps, and so if you're out there and you got 110 things that you working with that's in going around in your mind, and you don't know if you're coming or going, we just suggest to you one step at a time. Slow
Yeah.
down for a second. Take a breath. If
One
you
moment
need a
at
minute, if you don't need
a
to answer the
time.
phone, you know what I mean? If you need that moment, and it might be something that can't happen when you got a bunch of kids running around, a
Yeah.
house full of kids that you're trying to get ready for school and homeschool and the next day, or a husband and you getting yourself ready. So it can feel like you just don't have that moment. But I say if you're sitting on the toilet,
That's a moment.
that's a moment. That's
Yeah.
a moment. I
You
spent
taking out the trash? No, let me take out the trash. It's a
that's a
moment.
moment. Yes. That's a moment. If you in the shower, I don't care if the shower is 2 minutes just to hit the hot spots. That's
That's
two
a
minutes that you can kind of sit.
moment.
And but I won't go into the bathroom, but the bathroom was my refuge. Like everything outside the house. I used to go in the bathroom and I was sitting there for hours and I would pretend like when I was in my abusive relationship and I would pretend that I was constipated or something, which is why I was in there so long. And
Mhm.
girl, I was just in there trying to get my mind right. I was just trying to
Mhm.
get my mind right and the peace and quiet. And I used to look at the floor and I could count how many squares was on the floor of the tile. It just was something different other than what was on the other side of that door.
Yeah.
And it gave me some peace even for a small moment. And so it can look different for anybody, anybody else, but your life depends on it. If sometimes your life depends on you taking a moment for yourself. So
Absolutely. That's good. Well, I mean, you said enough. I really appreciate you for allowing me to not be everything to you because I
yeah,
can't.
you just can't. And I don't want you to. That's just not realistic. That what that does is give me the same, you give me the same grace, to be able to
Mhm.
say, if I have to give you that grace because I need it myself, like who am
Right.
I to not give you that when I know the time is going to come where I'm going to need it as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we just ask that everyone have a little bit more grace with each other,
Yes.
yourself, especially yourself, and we really felt compelled to just share, you know, a lot of our transparent moments, and we're in it right now.
Right.
This
It's
is
real time
real time, like right now,
experience. Right.
like
Right.
right
Right.
so we just, like we are going to have an ask of you all, I think in the next podcast, but be on the lookout for the upcoming work that we have coming, which is the conference. And we're putting so much work and brains into that. It's not just us. And thankfully, it's not just us because my brain
Right.
will be blown.
Right, right. We got a great team together. We putting together who our speakers are gonna be.
We have you in
It's just
mind.
we have you in mind.
Literally, we have you in mind.
And
So,
so it's made this conference is made for the woman and the man who represents us, who
Hmm.
is who is me, who is you,
It was me. Yes.
who right. It's everyone, because we're not that off from being different from one another. We have more similarities as a people
Oh
than
my
we do
goodness,
have
we do.
differences.
We
And
do.
so, yeah. So I'm excited about it, but it's a lot of work. And
It
so,
is. It
but
is.
we
And so
bringing it together.
we are piecemealing it one moment at a time, one meeting at a time,
Yes.
and one, oh my God, I know that we got to do that at a time.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right.
but yes, it's going to be all worth it. And I mean, I have nothing else to say. I'm Natalie Hayden.
And I'm Laverne Badger, and we're exposed, and we're saying it being okay with not being okay is okay.
Is okay. Yes, literally.
All
So,
right, you
guys,
guys
we will see you next week.
have a good one.
Bye.